Hey everybody, this is Isaiah from Magic System Monday, and I'm just here to let you all know that this video you're watching now is actually a clip. It's one segment out of a much larger video. If you want the full version, you can find it in the comments below. Hey everybody, this is Isaiah, and welcome back to Magic System Monday. Today, it appears the long-awaited moment has finally come. Today is the day that I finally cover the Magic System featured in Naruto. For those of you who know me, you know this is something that I've put off for 2 years. Fun fact, it was actually going to be the very first episode's topic. Back 2 years ago, when I first started Magic System Monday, the first episode was going to be about Naruto. In fact, I even had a co-host back then. But a lot of changes since then, and one of the main reasons for that is because of Naruto. Just to keep it simple, the Magic System in Naruto is very cluunky. The idea is perfectly fine, as most Magic Systems are. Oftentimes, the issue comes in the execution. There are a lot of retcons in Naruto, and we all know this. But there are so many retcons in Naruto, and more specifically the Magic System of Naruto, that basic features of how the magic works seem to change sometimes from episode to episode or even from story arc to story arc. So much so that there are even some rules in the Magic System that most viewers don't even remember. There have literally been occasions where I've went through the manga, the official translation of the manga, to point out things that used to be true about the Magic System that have long since been retconned or forgotten about, and people would otherwise have accused me of using headcanon or of making those things up before I give them the actual tangible proof. In fact, some of the magic is so confusing in Naruto because of these retcons that a lot of people kind of create their own headcanon on how they perceive certain things to work. Now, if you don't believe me, that's okay. I have proof for you. What I want you to do is, I want you to stop this video right now. Go have a conversation with your friends who've watched Naruto. Start talking to them about Naruto and ask them how they think. Now, ask them how they think the Chidori works. Alright? Why is it that a person has to have Sharingan to effectively use Chidori? Generally speaking, everybody that you ask will have a different answer. They often tend to vary in their minutiae because no one really understands exactly why it is the case. Truth be told, the actual reason itself kind of doesn't make any sense, especially not in the broader sense of how the powers work in Naruto. But that's besides the point. Generally speaking, when I ask this question, out of all my friends, even my siblings, none of them have ever given me the same answer on why they think it works that way. You yourself might even say, but it's simple, they explained it in the anime, at which point you may actually say something that's not entirely correct. In fact, it is not actually uncommon to see people making up their own headcanon for a lot of the other powers and rules in the Magic System as well, and most Naruto discourse is plagued by that fact. As you can imagine, this makes my job kind of hard and very frustrating. And this is why the very first episode of Magic System Monday was actually shelved in favor of a new one. That's not something I regret. I think the new first episode, while it's not perfect, it's better. Having said that though, I have long since avoided the topic of Naruto as much as I could. I've had so many episodes that were either based off of Naruto or Naruto was referenced heavily that I just never posted because, not only because I was worried about the episode quality, but also because bringing up Naruto too much spawns too much debate, it spawns too much headcanon, it's just so much of a mess. But I decided that I was tired of holding it off. What I decided that I'm going to do now is come up with an official roadmap of as many of the retcons in the Magic System of Naruto as possible. I probably won't get to all of them today. There are often so many that I probably miss a lot of them. But I will try to make sure that I cover at least everything in part 1. And maybe a little bit of part 2. But to do that, we gotta go way back to the beginning. In Naruto, Chapter 17, now it's here that we get the first explanation for how chakra works. And by understanding chakra, we understand ninjutsu. Now chakra is the main source of power for ninjas when they're feeling their ninjutsu. But chakra itself is actually made up of 2 other energies. That would be physical energy and spiritual energy. Physical energy is simply put, the energy conjured up from all the cells in a person's body. Then spiritual energy, which depending on the translation that you're looking at, is also called mental energy. For those of you who aren't exactly aware, mental, spiritual, and soul-based things are often very, very finely correlated when it comes to magic in a lot of works of fiction. Sometimes they're even used basically interchangeably. Spiritual energy is developed and conjured up through the experience and skill and training that a person has developed over their lifetime. So you take your physical energy, your spiritual energy, and you combine them together in the body through spiraling. We later learned that there's actually a network similar to meridians called the chakra network that these energies flow through in the body, and you combine them together through that. The process of combining these two energies to make chakra is called weaving. But we also use the term weaving when it comes to building hand signs, which is one of the major components of casting spells in this world. So ultimately, chakra is used for what I like to consider to be two separate categories of things. They're all called ninjutsu, but I like to consider them separate things. The first is actual ninjutsu, which is the equivalent of casting spells. It's this world's version of magic, shooting fireballs and lightning bolts and casting spells and illusions and all of that sort of thing. We have plenty of that. On the other hand is enhancement. With enhancement, chakra is focused throughout the body to enhance characteristics. We actually see that people are able to focus it in their body to become faster. We later see a number of characters, even some of the main characters, who use it to become physically stronger. A couple of examples of that are Sakura and Lady Tsunade. But ninjas, for some reason or another, are also able to use it to adhere themselves to surfaces. This allows them to walk on walls and ceilings, kind of like Spider-Man, or even to walk on water for some reason or another. I don't exactly know why, but it is a pretty neat trick. Of course, to do any of these things, you have to have solid chakra control. A lot of these functions require some degree of precision when controlling the chakra in your body. And if you don't have the precision, either the ability won't work as well or it won't work at all. And in order to train their skill in chakra control, the main character Sensei actually instructs them to use their chakra control to climb trees. And in doing so, they learn how to keep a proper balance of chakra. If they're doing anything other than that, then generally speaking what they have to do is use hand seals. Hand seals are kind of their version of casting spells. They're the different hand signs and formations, almost like a type of sign language, that they use to conjure and formulate the jutsu. And more powerful jutsu tend to have more hand seals. Now this basic information here is something that just about no one really disagrees on. It's all in one chapter in one lump sum. Everything I stated here is pretty much common knowledge. However, there are some ramifications here that are often ignored. Primarily, the source of chakra. Now, chakra, as it's explained here, is something that does not naturally exist or occur in the universe by normal means. There is the nine-tailed fox and it has its own chakra, but that's implied to be something very, very supernatural at this point. When it comes to human beings, they have to actively weave their own chakra. They make it out of the energies they have at their disposal, their physical and mental energies. This means that people don't have some natural allotment of chakra. There's no magical fuel gauge that they have with them all the time or whatever, even though a lot of points in the series after this act as if that is exactly the case. Sometimes people will have chakra absorbing abilities that they can just use on people, even though people don't really walk around with a bunch of chakra in their body. Some later points in the series actually treat chakra like life force. During the Chunin exams, after Kakashi teaches his pupil Sasuke how to use the Chidori, he explains to him it takes a lot of chakra, and he doesn't want him to use too much, because not only will the ability not work if he doesn't have enough chakra to use it, but it could also kill him, implying that this energy is directly associated with your life force. I don't mind the idea of physical and spiritual energy being tied to a person's life force, but that's not what they say here. And you have to weave the chakra before you can use it in the first place. So it stands to reason in my mind that running out of chakra shouldn't be directly associated with dying, because the average person is running around with zero chakra by default unless they actively create it. That is, unless chakra spirals itself automatically, which also isn't true. The writer eventually goes on to realize that he made this mistake and attempts to fix it later down the line in the War Arc in Part 2 in Naruto Shippuden. And if you don't believe me, you can watch it or read it for yourself. Basically, after the reveal that the person we thought was Madara was actually Obito, we get both a lot of present moment occurrences and flashbacks where people are constantly referring to the weaving of chakra actively, constantly, consistently, over and over again in every episode. It's like the writer's trying to beat it back into our heads. Because up to that point, he actually wasn't referencing it or even acknowledging it as a function up until this point. It's like he forgot about it and then tried to reintroduce it. There is one occurrence in a flashback where Tobirama, who is allegedly a sensory ninja, is talking to his brother Hashirama while Madara's outside against the wall or whatever, listening to them, and Hashirama's like, "Hey man, did you hear something? Or did you sense something?" or something like that. And then Tobirama literally says, "No, I didn't, because I'm not weaving chakra right now." And then I think a little bit before that, while Naruto is using his Kyuubi cloak, fueled by the nine-tailed fox, to give everybody in the alliance more chakra to amplify their power, there's actually a bit of a delay. And the reason stated for this is not because the nine-tailed fox was out of chakra, is because he needed time to weave more chakra. This is a being who earlier in the story in Naruto Part 2 is actually referred to be an amorphous mass of chakra. Post-editing here, I meant to say enormous, not amorphous. This man is literally made of chakra. The tailed beasts are later explained to be giant masses of chakra that were split from the ten tails. Meaning that this man is entirely chakra, and yet he still has to weave chakra like a normal person. And then after all the previous Hokage are revived with the reanimation jutsu, I can't remember if it was Hashirama or Tobirama, but as they all swoop in to fight the Ten Tails and save the day, one of them actually refers to weaving chakra again to tell everyone to prepare for the fight by weaving chakra. So within the span of a few episodes, the writer starts bashing our head with it over and over again to remind us that it's a thing, because he forgot. And up until this point, most people don't even bother weaving chakra during a fight anyway. And just with this first basic explanation of how chakra works, we still have a couple more discrepancies. Namely, regarding physical and spiritual energy. Physical and spiritual energy are both cited to have sources of things that are subject to change not only from person to person, but skill level. In fact, I would argue mostly skill level. As a person grows up and becomes a more developed person, naturally their body has more cells in it as you grow up. If you're very fit and you exercise a lot and you train a lot like a ninja would, that stands to reason that your physical body would get better and you would therefore have more physical energy. Likewise with your spiritual energy. The more you train and the more experience you have and the more wise you are, the more of that you would have. And putting these two together gives you chakra. Now, this is interesting. It doesn't say intelligence. Being intelligent doesn't give you more spiritual energy. But it stands to reason that being more physically fit might. So if you're more physically talented, you probably could. The problem is, later Naruto doesn't see it that way. Later Naruto just pretends that different people have different amounts of chakra in general. In fact, Naruto Uzumaki, being part of the Uzumaki clan, is suggested to have way more chakra than the average person just because he's a part of that clan. Because they also are claimed to have high vitality, so one might make the argument it's because they have a lot of physical energy. But in this same chapter, it suggested that in order for you to make chakra, you have to spiral those two, physical and spiritual energy. It stands to reason having way more of one is not going to give you an advantage because you have to balance it. And this later becomes, and this rule is later carried on to nature energy once senjutsu is brought into the mix. Because in order to use senjutsu properly, you have to balance the amount of that third energy you're putting into your normal chakra balance. And then we have Kakashi here, who, even when he isn't using the Sharingan, and I think even when he loses it at the end of the series, he still historically has very limited amounts of chakra reserves, kinda just because. So everybody in the series just naturally has different reserves of chakra, almost like it's different. It varies on a per person basis or by a family basis. And all of a sudden, it goes from being a thing you have to cultivate and make to being some kind of mana point system in a video game. When in reality, it should stand to reason that however much chakra a person has is pretty much directly equivalent to their skill level, both their experience and their physical training. This would technically mean that two equally fit people with the same amount of experience should basically have the same amount of chakra. But everybody's amount of chakra is just randomly different for some reason. Alright everybody, that's about it for today. If you want to hear the rest of this video, you can find the full version in the description below. But if you want to take a look at this video segment by segment, you can find the link for that in the description as well. In any case, this is Isaiah from Magic System Monday, and I'll see you all next time.